YouTube channel Nos Confunden. The Reptilians and the Men in Black. One morning, my wife and I decided to walk along a wooded trail where a beautiful river also flowed. I can't say exactly where it was, but this happened in the northern part of South America. We had taken a similar route before, but since we had more time than usual, we decided to go a bit farther this time. It was a beautiful sunny day, with not a single cloud in the sky, and it had been a terribly dry summer. We were well stocked with plenty of water to stay hydrated in case we decided to walk a bit further. After we had ventured about 3 kilometers away from the known path, things started to get a bit strange. A mysterious mist began to rise from the ground itself, making it difficult to see anything. YouTube channel Nos Confunden. We got scared and decided to return quickly, but the mist had also invaded us from the other side. At first we thought it was smoke and that there was a fire nearby, but we were wrong. It was a thick fog. YouTube channel Nos Confunden. We began to wonder where it could have come from. Was it normal for such a mist to suddenly appear out of nowhere in such hot weather? We started to imagine all sorts of things and ended up completely lost in this strange scene that unfolded before us. Everything became terrifying, and we didn't even want to make a sound. YouTube channel Nos Confunden. There was complete silence around us, and all we could hear were our footsteps walking through the tall grass that stood out. We tried to walk back along our previous steps to find our way out, but nothing looked familiar or recognizable from the path we had already traveled. YouTube channel Nos Confunden. My wife began to have anxiety attacks and started screaming desperately. "Where the hell are we? Please, someone help us." I tried to calm her down, and when we looked to our left, where the stream was supposed to be, some shadows began to appear around us. I think we both panicked, though we also thought they could be people trapped in the mist, or someone coming to help us. 4 extremely strange people showed up. These gentlemen dressed in black and wearing old-fashioned hats seemed to have come from a time before ours, but much earlier. YouTube channel Nos Confunden. I remember 3 of them had brown hats, and the one who spoke with a strange accent had a very dark-colored hat, and I couldn't make out his face. I tried to greet him by shaking his hand, but I think he didn't quite understand the greeting and tried to do it in his own way. Then he asked in a very deep and robotic voice,
"Where are you from?"
"We are from the area," I quickly replied. "We got trapped in this mist."
"What mist?"
the strange man asked again. When we looked around, the mist had disappeared, and the beautiful forest had turned into a place full of rocks and reddish dust. YouTube channel Nos Confunden. My wife quickly stood up and seemed ready to run away, but I managed to hold her, and we stood half embraced, me staring intently at this man with the black hat.
"Do not fear,"
he said.
"Everything will be fine. Please come with me."
My wife was crying, and I tried to calm her down, though I wasn't feeling calm either. Inside, I really wanted to return home no matter what. YouTube channel Nos Confunden. My wife began asking who they were, where we were, and many of the questions I also had in my mind.
"That doesn't matter now. You will know everything in due time. In due time."
the man said again. The three men in front waved their hands, or perhaps they had some kind of device I couldn't see, and a sort of portal opened from a huge ship that emitted a strong reddish hue. The man with the black hat turned halfway around and looking straight at me said,
Please, come through this door with me and I will help you with your questions.
YouTube channel Nos Confunden. My wife was resisting in the opposite direction, and to be honest, my legs were doing the same. I told him we wouldn't be going anywhere. By this point, everything was quite terrifying. I don't even know who you are or what you want, but we want to return to our home, sir, I firmly stated for the first time. The man looked at me and made a forced expression with his face, almost mimicking a slight smile. Then he asked me,
And do you think this is really your home?
Now with a sarcastic laugh, his lips seemed painted, and he then told me the following. YouTube channel Nos Confunden.
I understand that you are afraid. It's natural. The natural and the unknown can be overwhelming, can be frightening, and even desperate, but they can also provide answers. Those answers that perhaps you will never find anywhere else. Think about it. You can pass through this door and answer many questions you've had all your life.
When this man finished his speech, the other three men were entering this sort of ship portal, and their bodies were disappearing as if the matter of their bodies was completely disintegrating. YouTube channel Nos Confunden. The last man remaining took off his hat and stared at us. His image transformed, turning his face into scales, his eyes enlarged, and his pupils turned a yellowish hue, then became elliptical. My wife broke away from me and ran in the opposite direction, and I was left frozen, stunned, and paralyzed at the same time. I couldn't move a single muscle in my body. I was a living statue trying to process all of this. I couldn't do anything. I don't think this being was holding me back. To this day, I try to think about what happened that afternoon. I think I simply stood still, both terrified and amazed at having such a being in front of me. YouTube channel Nos Confunden. I could still hear my wife's screams running among the rocks and through a path filled with red dust, which we had no idea where it came from. Even if I wanted to, I swear I couldn't have helped her at that moment. This being put half of his body through this luminous door of the ship portal and asked me again,
If you want answers, this is your moment to enter with us. There won't be another situation like this.
YouTube channel Nos Confunden. His voice was now completely robotic. I looked back and I couldn't even see my wife's silhouette. The man told me she would be fine and would return to her reality automatically when we crossed. Finally, I told him I wouldn't go with them and closed my eyes for a moment. The man entered through that portal, and his body also disappeared slowly, like small particles of light fading away. As soon as he went in, the green of the fields and the stream returned around me. But it didn't happen automatically. Rather, those particles of a blue hue slowly came together to form the whole landscape. I couldn't understand what had happened. Everything was very confusing. Even with the passage of time and future experiences, I never fully understood it. I decided to leave then, after a period of intense meditation or deep inner reflection, spinning around in my head, trying to understand if this had been real. When I crossed the stream, my wife was waiting there. I found her crying, and we embraced each other tightly. I understood then that none of this had been a product of my imagination. We agreed never to speak of the matter again, as it marked a before and after in our lives regarding our entire environment. But who were those men? How did they change our reality? What would have really happened if I had chosen to go with them?
YouTube channel Nos Confunden.